This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 1848. 4 Ways to Reignite Your Relationship by Stacy Kaiser of LiveHappy.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of ORD with me, your host and narrator, Greg Audino. I hope your weekend is going well, and I thank you so much for making some time for us and doing right by your relationships today. What do you say we jump right in this time and learn about how to reignite that spark in our relationships as we optimize your life? 4 Ways to Reignite Your Relationship by Stacy Kaiser of LiveHappy.com. My longtime friend Sarah has been what most would call happily married for 10 years. She and her husband both work outside of the home. They have 1 child and a couple of pets. Lately, she told me, she and her husband fall into bed at night exhausted, and he leaves in the morning before she wakes up. Every weekend is filled with kid-related activities and household chores. Sarah loves her husband, but feels like they've become more roommates than partners. They rarely talk about anything other than life logistics, and their romantic life consists of an occasional goodbye kiss on the cheek or a tap on the shoulder. Don't neglect your primary relationship. Sarah's situation is one I hear often in my practice as a therapist. We sometimes get so wrapped up in the chaos of everyday life that we miss out on truly connecting with our partners, the ones who we are supposed to connect with the most. Based on my experience, the number one reason couples disconnect is not because they've grown apart or are too busy, but because they don't invest the time and energy necessary to stay connected. The National Marriage Project at the University of Virginia in a 2012 study tested the importance of being connected in a relationship. Specifically, they found that date nights and designated couples time improved the success and quality of a relationship, and even worked toward reducing stress. Even small connections count. Of course, many of the couples I speak to claim that they simply don't have time for quality couple time. While taking a vacation alone together or spending 3 or 4 hours out on a regular date night are lovely ideas, something simpler can work almost as well. I found that couples who take 20 to 30 minutes to connect 3 times a week with no distractions and no electronic devices are able to build a greater bond and feel many of the benefits of those who invest more time. As a first step, grab a glass of wine or a cup of tea and sit together on your porch or tucked into bed and just talk about things you're interested in or excited about. Avoid stressful discussions about money or dirty dishes left in the sink. Relationships are like any other important living thing. They need to be attended to, nurtured, and cared for in order to grow and thrive. Here are 4 ideas for you to start down the path of reconnection. Number 1, create rules of connection. When life gets busy, making plans to connect on a regular basis is key to reigniting and maintaining your intimate relationship. One couple I know cuddles every morning and every night they're together. This has become part of their routine. And even though sometimes they're both tired or rushed, they set the alarm 5 minutes early or go to bed 5 minutes later to make sure that this happens. Another couple always walks the partner who is leaving to the car and gives a parting hug and kiss at the car door. This 1 extra minute of time is a nice way to connect before heading in separate directions. Number 2, build in spontaneity and adventure. While scheduled together time is important, you can also mix it up and keep things exciting with activities that are fun and spontaneous. Surprise your partner with a gourmet breakfast in bed. Crank up some great music and have an impromptu dance party in the middle of the kitchen. If you're more adventurous, train together for a marathon or try river rafting or bungee jumping as a weekend outing. Number 3, make flirtation and intimacy a priority. Send each other flirty texts or look through old photos of when you first met. Plan a date to go bowling or cruise Main Street to relive some of your first outings together. When it comes to intimacy, find time for moments when you allow yourselves to get close physically, even if it's simply giving each other shoulder massages before bed. Couples always ask me about my view on scheduled intimacy, and I tell them that scheduled closeness is much better than no physical closeness at all. Number 4, be interesting and interested. One great way to connect with your partner is to be genuinely interested in what that person is thinking, feeling, and doing. When your mate is in the mood to talk, ask questions, discuss favorite activities, or what funny thing happened at work that day. Another great way to connect is to be interesting. Have a variety of topics to talk about. Tell a great story about an experience you had in the past or in the present. People get so wrapped up in the monotony of their days, they come home from work and start the conversation with, "I had a long day," or "What do you want for dinner?" Not very romantic. Try engaging with something like, "I read the most amazing story in the news today," or "Where would you go if you could be anywhere right now?" With all of our commitments to work, kids, finances, and fitness regimes, it can be dangerously easy to neglect our relationships with our partners. Make time to engage, touch, talk, listen, and, most of all, connect. You just listened to the post titled, 4 Ways to Reignite Your Relationship by Stacy Kaiser of LiveHappy.com. Keeping your body in shape is important, but it's also important to keep your mind in shape. I've been leveling up my focus with Word Collect, which is a free word puzzle app with over 2,000 levels. Word Collect gets harder as you get better, so it's a fun and challenging way to keep your brain sharp and grow your vocabulary. I highly recommend you give this fun and addicting brain game a try. And right now, Word Collect is offering you 2,500 coins and 500 gems when you download and play. And those coins help. You'll need them when you're having a hard time reaching the next level. I've been there a few times myself, and I am very thankful they made it easier for me to keep going, because it really is a fun and educational game. So, stop mindlessly scrolling through social media. Keep your mind sharp. Just go to the Apple or Google store and search for Word Collect. So if you're like me and want to get fit with your mind and body, download Word Collect for free today. I highly recommend you give this fun and addicting brain game a try. Download Word Collect for free today. And thanks a lot to Stacy for this one, a post that definitely stands to keep us all accountable when it comes to nurturing our relationships and not going on autopilot, which, as she said, can become all too easy to do, even if we don't intend to. Nobody wants that. She's provided some great ideas today. And now I want to tell you about one thing my girlfriend and I do, which we really enjoy. So we have a couple's bucket list, I guess you would call it. And what this means basically is that anytime we are talking about a place we want to visit, or we pass a restaurant that looks good, or we see some kind of interesting recipe that we want to try on Instagram or whatever, we'll add it to this shared note that we have that consists of all these things we want to do or that seem interesting to us. So it becomes this great means of keeping things fresh, following through on ideas, and also having a list of ways to spend our time when we're looking for something to do. And plus, probably my favorite part is that once we do something from the list, we have that satisfaction of checking it off and then being able to look back and reflect on some really good memories together. So to me, it becomes a great way of enjoying the past, engaging in the present, and looking towards the future. And I highly recommend it to anyone. But that'll do it for today, everybody. Get a couple's bucket list going. Be sure you tell everyone where you heard it from. It only counts if I get to soak in all the credit, of course. I'm just kidding. It was probably my girlfriend's idea anyway. I don't really remember. It was a while ago. Thank you so much for coming, folks. Thanks for choosing your relationships once again. And be sure to stick around for our weekly bonus episode, which is live now on your feed as well. That's where your optimal life awaits.